Hi there, my lovelies. I'm back and I have veganized the French chef Erick Jacquin'S steak tartare because we can. That's why, because we can do anything we want. And this is that time where we're going to give both the meat eaters and the true vegans a nosebleed because they yell at me all the time. The true vegans though, we're gonna get into that in a second because what the hell's that, a true vegan? I don't know, do you know that? I know, but we're gonna discuss that a little bit further on this episode. And we're going to use, to emulate our steak, it's made with a filet mignon. So we're going to emulate that with the tomatoes. I'm going to use tomatoes. And but bear with me, not any kind of tomatoes. It has to be firm to the touch, you know, and orangey to the greenish color, because if it's too ripe it's going to release a lot of water because you're going to mix with salt and with the Worcestershire sauce, so it will draw a lot of water. We don't want that. So this is one thing. The other thing is that it's the kind of tomatoes that have more meat than seeds. Roma tomatoes are great for those for this recipe. I'm using Canarian tomatoes, so the ones that are regularly sold around here. I have made this recipe 6 times with 6 types of different tomatoes, and these proven to be the best, these and the Roma tomatoes. And is there something else? No, just make it. Let's make it. So first step, we're going to blanch it. We're going to blanch it because we want to remove the peel. I have some blanching there on my pot, and for 1 minute, and then after 1 minute, ice bath, because I want to stop the cooking, because if we cook it, it's going to melt and disintegrate, and we don't want that. Alright, so now that my tomatoes are peeled and de-seeded and super hot, I'm going to take them to the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 230 degrees Celsius or 440 Fahrenheit. And this step is super important. And let's go. Alright, so I have chopped my tomatoes, not too small so it won't disintegrate, so medium, you know, you can see here. And now we're going to add to a bowl. It has to be icy cold, and to guarantee that it's going to be icy cold, I'm going to put it in a bigger bowl with ice, okay? Then you add the tomatoes along with the rest of the ingredients: the green onions, parsley, the cornichons, which are very small pickles, white onions, and capers. Everything chopped very small. Now we're going to add salt. Don't stir anything, okay? We're going to add all the ingredients, and then afterwards we're going to stir a little bit everything together, because if we keep adding and keep stirring, it's going to become a paste. We don't want that. Some pepper, some Worcestershire sauce, some mayonnaise, some mustard. I have the recipe for a Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to leave it on a card up there, the little circle there, as well as in the description box below. The link to the printable recipe on my website. Some good quality olive oil, but listen to me. That's why I keep telling you, don't use olive oil, don't waste olive oil to fry stuff. This is why, because you save the good olive oil for this, for drizzling or pouring, depends on the recipe, in your food, because this is like so delicious that why waste it, you know? Save it for those occasions. It's so expensive. And now we are going to stir it delicately, okay, so you don't break the tomatoes. And now I'm gonna plate it. I have added a little bit of chimichurri around just because a little bit more acid. I think it goes very well with this recipe. And so what do you think about this? Isn't this amazing? Now, guys, seriously, every time I make I think it's important to talk about it. Every time I make something that it says a fishless fish or chickenless chicken, we all know that this is not chicken, and we all know that this is not fish. And believe it or not, the people who come complaining with me are the ones that are they call themselves a true vegan. But not everybody is the same, you know. We have stages in our evolving, and we all have our own pace. And we all have our own limitations, and not everybody, I mean, very few of us were born vegans. It's very nice to respect people's transitioning and be supportive, because there's nothing more damaging to veganism than toxic people. If we want people to stop eating animals, we need to forget about our egos, we need to forget about ourselves, and leave it on the side. I mean, it's not important to win a discussion, because the mere presence of you sitting on the table, it is already a little tickle on their conscience, because they're facing somebody who's given up on pleasures, you know, as in cheese and food, for a greater good. And this is why people feel so uncomfortable in the presence of vegans, because it touches their conscience, it makes them think, and people don't like that. So I would like for you, for all of us, to be a little bit more understanding. We live in this world that we demand and we yell, and we really are feeling entitled to have more understanding, more inclusiveness, and more forgiveness, and all these things that people keep yelling and protesting about. But when it comes to our turn to be this way to our human beings, we forget about that. I mean, it's almost like we delegate these to other people, but ourselves. I just wanted to point that out, because there's a few people that come here and they like, oh my God, how can you do that? Oh my God, why not? I mean, do you know whose channel is that? That's my name there, so I can do whatever I want, and you can do whatever you want. Break the rules, create new patterns, be a daredevil. Make tomato steak tartare, and people are gonna love it. And if they don't, like, screw them. But they will. You know why? Because it's delicious. And if it's delicious, that's mustard, super hot. Ooh. And if they don't like it, I mean, it's their right also. Let me try this. Oh. Amazing. I love it. I love it. I forgot. I put it there so I wouldn't forget. We add a little bit of black salt, because it has this sulfuric taste and smell, so it smells like egg. So instead of the raw egg yolk, yummy, I know, right? You add a little bit of kala namak, and this is it, our vegan steak tartare. I hope Chef Jacquin doesn't yell at me. I hope he won't, because I think he's a very good sport, and the reason why I made it, because he's one of my favorite chefs. As you know, I don't watch too much vegan channels. I watch regular channels because I want to veganize the foods that people are eating and the things that we already have growing up. And I have talked too much, I know. So don't forget to tag me if you make this, and I see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's very important. And I see you next time. Bye-bye.